Hey everyone, I know it's been a while since I've been on here. I know I haven't posted since February of this year, but so many things have happened since the previous episode, but I will be diving into it for the next episode. Today we will be discussing, or I will be basically talking about my testimony and how God came through for me in my studies. For those who don't know, I've resigned from my job during January of this year in order to pursue postgrad studies, as I wasn't allowed to pursue studies and I had to make a choice. I had to make a decision. This has been a desire of mine for almost 10 years. At some point, I thought that maybe this isn't what God wanted for me because it took so long for this breakthrough to take place. But when I received the news that I was accepted for the master's degree program at 2 good universities, I knew that this had God written all over it. Finally, all the past rejections and obstacles that were in my way back then made sense. I so badly wanted to pursue my master's after undergrad studies, but things took a whole different turn. In my final year of undergrad, I was held back by 2 modules. Some of my fellow classmates and friends graduated, while some of us were held back. After graduating, I pursued the Justice Training course here in Namibia. This is basically a postgraduate course that allows you to become an admitted legal practitioner, which is composed of your articles and then obviously you having to pass bar exams as well. This course was another character-shaping experience for me and many others. Some people gave up halfway while others persisted and continued the race. Many times during undergrad studies and whilst completing the Justice Training course, I felt like giving up because somehow I felt delayed and that it was all too much to handle. I questioned myself whether law was really for me, but somehow God kept coming through for me, not in my time, but His, to show me that despite all the challenges, all the setbacks, the doubts, the fears, the failure and rejection, He had everything under perfect control, and that I should only trust Him and have faith in Him and His timing. Finally, during March of 2021, this was still during COVID time, I was admitted and sworn in as a legal practitioner of the High Court of Namibia. During that time, I was already employed in government after completing my articles. Fast forward to 2022, the desire to pursue postgrad studies came back and I reapplied to some universities. I was convinced that this is a now or never moment. Although I obviously had my fears regarding it, I also arrived at a stage where I knew my season at my previous job came to an end, as I felt so numb and dead inside, and I felt I outgrew my environment and I felt stuck. I told God either one of 2 things must happen. Either 1, I get another job or I pursue postgrad studies. The jobs I applied to in the private sector just didn't come through. And once again, I experienced rejection, but somehow I had peace about the whole situation. I thought that maybe God is still working things out for me. Because obviously He proved Himself faithful in the previous seasons of my life, so I knew at the right time He'll come through somehow. Fast forward to October of last year, I applied to other jobs within government itself. I was desperately open to transfer to another office. As long as the job had nothing to do with litigation, I would be happy. Litigation just basically meaning a lawyer that deals with court cases and goes to court. However, I didn't hear back from them in time. During the week before the breakthrough happened, I was so calm and I really decided to surrender this area to God again. I had peace and I took every day as it came. I recall that I would listen to worship music in the morning before going to work, and on this one particular morning before heading out, I recall listening to the song Do It Again by Elevation Worship. This song deeply ministered to me, as well as some other songs that I would listen to each morning. During that week, Friday, after arriving at home, I was busy talking to my mom and I received an email during that time from one of the universities. I was accepted to pursue the master's degree. I was so overjoyed, and I didn't know whether I would get in the university because of the doubts that I had. It's so sad how we sometimes doubt ourselves and our abilities, but God. Ephesians 3 verse 20 was dropped into my spirit at that moment, and it says that God is going to give you more than you have asked for. What a beautiful promise and reminder that is. The next day I received another acceptance email from another university, and the only thing that I had to think about was which university I wished to attend. And that was also another difficult decision for me to arrive at, because I could basically see myself at any of these 2 universities. There's a quote that I used to always come across on social media that reads, it says that sometimes it takes 10 years to get there to 1 year that will completely change your life. I felt this was definitely it, and it was relatable to my situation. And I can assume that for many of you it's the same case as well. I felt I could identify with Hannah and Sarah from the Bible that waited so long for God to fulfill what He promised them. Dear friend, if God could do this for me, what will He not do for you as well? It might not be studies for you. Maybe you're waiting on a good, stable job. Maybe you're waiting on God to fulfill your promise or desire for marriage. Maybe you're waiting on God for your healing, or for God to provide financially or in some other way. Or maybe you're just going through a tough season and you just need God to give you strength every day. Just know that He's faithful. He's a faithful and loving God. He will grant us our heart's desires if it's in line with His will for our lives. I've experienced God as a healer, as a provider, as a promise keeper. Let's ask God for what it is that we need and desire, but let's also learn to lean in closer to Him and work on our relationship with Him. Matthew 6 verse 33 says, "But seek first the kingdom of God and His righteousness, and all of these things shall be added to you." It's important to always discern what is from God and what is not, and to not lean on our own understanding, as His ways and thoughts are higher than ours. We don't always see what God sees until such a time when we eventually will. Proverbs 3 verse 6 says that in all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will make your path straight. Let's learn to acknowledge Him in all that we do, and learn to do things or be part of things that glorify Him. Remember, every good and perfect gift comes from above. Friends, God is not a genie. He still longs for a personal relationship with every one of us. And yes, He also cares about things that we care about, such as our desires, our dreams or goals. I hope my testimony today can inspire you to have faith, to do what you can, and to allow God to work and move fully in your life. Until next time, thank you for listening, and I hope that you'll be tuning in to the next episode as well.